how do I take my vision of the luxury paper product I have and actually make it happen? There's so many voices online telling us to design on Canva or print on demand, Amazon KDP. There's so many options out there and different people explaining how to print a paper product. But if you're really interested in printing a luxury paper product, maybe you want something stunning with gold corners and tabs and things, or maybe you really want a beautiful like linen product that's luxury and high quality paper inside, this is the video for you. I'm going to teach you my 4-step process on how to create your dream paper product. I call it the dream printing method, and I'm going to break it down for you today. All right, let's get started. Are you excited? Okay, so sometimes when people come to me, they either are curious, they just want to know what's the process look like. Maybe it seems really daunting, or they just want me to demystify the process of how to print a luxury paper product. Some people have already gone down the rabbit hole of designing on Canva, but there's just something missing. Maybe you watching have already started to make something on Canva. You've already started to make your journal or your planner, and you have an idea, but you just can't get it to work together. Or maybe you've tried Amazon and you went through the whole process and the product came in the mail and you were so excited, and then you were like, this is not really the quality I want. If that's you, do not be discouraged in any of those buckets. If you're curious, or if you've given up on Canva designing, or you've already printed something and you didn't love it, don't be discouraged. Be excited, because today I'm actually going to show you how to create a paper product in 4 steps. So a little bit about me. I'm Polly Payne, the CEO and founder of Horacio Printing. 10 years ago, I had the dream to make a planner. And if you're like me, you're a paper snob. You love back to school shopping, you love journals, you love paper products, and you want to make a difference. I really needed to create a planner back in 2014, and my life was an absolute mess, and I could not find the planner that I wanted in the market. It just didn't really exist. Everything that was Christian was kind of just subpar. I feel like some people think that being a Christian product means you have a hall pass for producing lower quality products. And I think if you produce a Christian product, it should be excellent. It should be incredible. It should be inspiring. It should connect you with your God-given purpose. And so I set out to make a really excellent planner. I did my best my first year. Honestly, my first year probably wasn't the highest quality possible, but it was the best I could do. And over the last 10 years, I've been perfecting this method of taking an idea out of my head and making it come to fruition. I actually launched a signature program called Print School. We now have Print School 2.0, which is amazing. And we have hundreds of students in there creating their paper products. And I've had a couple of them on my show. If you want to go back and listen to some of those interviews with my students, I interview them and we talk about the process. We talk about their products and how they launched it and everything. And so you can always go back and watch some of those interviews. But I want to dive into the 4 steps, because there's 4, I won't say simple steps, but there are 4 main steps to creating your paper product. This is not a microwave product. It's not a microwave process. It is a process of love. And it's definitely something that if you have the itch and the dream to do it, it is such a rewarding process. That's what I hear time and time again when people finally get that paper product in their hand. They've been dreaming about it and now they're holding it. It's such a special moment. So this is the 4 steps, okay? Step 1, if you're taking notes today, highly recommend. Step 1 is ideation. Ideation. And ideation is basically where you take your vision and you write it out. Write the vision, make it plain. So basically, this is where for me in my process and how I teach my students, this is where they're going to start to sketch out page by page what they want. You don't have to be an artist for this step. Don't be scared by this step. It's just a general like, where are things going? And I really recommend starting from a blank canvas. I give my students a template on how to sketch out the pages and the spreads of their product. But the problem, what I would say don't do, here is the danger zone of ideation. The danger zone of ideation is where you just go straight to Canva. You pull templates from places. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, here's a planner template. Oh, here's a journal template. Oh, here's a wheel template. Here's a habit tracker. And you just make this Frankenstein product. And then it doesn't go together. It doesn't flow. It's not coming together. It doesn't make sense. The monthly spread's on one page. You wanted the monthly spread on 2 pages. It's like, ugh. And it just doesn't work out. And what happens? We abandon the dream. And if you've done that, don't feel shame. Don't feel guilt. I'm not condemning it at all. I've just seen it happen over and over and over again. That's usually what happens. We give up on our Canva thing because we can't make it excellent. And if you're like me, you want to produce something that's beautiful, not perfect, but you want to make something amazing. Why would you put all this time and energy or resources into something if it's not going to be something you love, right? I want you to make something you love. So I really recommend my students sit with pen and paper and they sketch out their vision. And even before you sketch out your vision, we really have to figure out your why. Who are you making this for? How is it going to help them? And I have a video all about that with what is the first step of creating a paper product, and it's coming up with your vision statement. But once you have that vision statement, maybe I want to make a cancer warrior planner to help people going through chemo treatments. Okay, great. That's very specific. Once you have that specific vision of what you want to make, even if it's specific, like I want to make a planner for busy moms, like that's fine. But once you have that vision, then you can start to play around with what do you want the first page to be? What do you want the second page to be? Those types of things. So ideation is where you're starting to sketch out page by page what you want, even if it's just the first 6 pages. Like, what are the core building blocks of my product? It's a lot easier to dump out your building blocks versus try to go look at random building blocks and say, oh, I think I like that one. I think I like this one. I think I like that one. And then try to put this spaghetti soup together versus starting with a clean, fresh slate. So that's my biggest thing, okay? It might feel scary, but it's so fun. I promise it's so fun. So ideation, first step of that is sketching out your initial concept. Then you're going to create an index file. This is something I teach in print school, and I give all my templates and all my trainings to every student. And I have them create an index file, which is basically a skeleton page by page Excel sheet or Google sheet where you understand how your spreads line up, because the pagination, which is a word I'm probably not saying right, but like the pages of your product, they have to align. The last thing you'd want is to buy a product, right? Or order a product. And then this page is on that side, and then this page here is over there, right? So like we want to make sure our spreads are lining up. How are we designing it? Are we making too many pages? Like you can only fit so many pages in a coil binding. Like you can't have a giant you don't want to make a giant product and then it's so heavy no one can carry it around. So there's all sorts of things. And the index file basically creates this sandbox for my students to play in order to understand how many pages can I have based on how thick I want my paper, and also how many spreads can I design in this product, and is it all fitting in? What's the rhythm of the pages? So after the index file, the next step is to write the words that go in your product. For example, in my products, this is my dream planner here. In my products, I love having a welcome letter. I'm going to cover the QR code. I love having a welcome letter. And this is some copy that you want to write in your product is the welcome letter, the instructions. Maybe you want to have a quote or a Bible verse on every weekly layout, things like that. If you're writing a devotional, you need to write all the devotionals, right? So writing the master copy is part of ideation. And it's not that you have to have all of it done in this step, but this is where you get started on it. This is where you get organized with it. Ideation is all about organizing and channeling your big thoughts into a very specific product. Sometimes you'll find in ideation that the thing you had is actually multiple products. And so you figure out, well, what's the first one I'm starting with, right? The last step of ideation is where you put all three pieces, your vision, your index file, and your copy, into a prototype. And you make a very simple, very basic prototype. It's not meant to be beautiful, it's meant to be functional. And that's the last piece of ideation. So that's ideation. That's the first step. If you have questions about ideation or questions about this process in general, comment them below. I'd love to start a conversation with you and understand where you are in the process. If any of this sounds confusing, let me know. Step 2, ready for step 2? Step 1 was ideation. Step 2 is design. Design. This is where we take our prototype and make it beautiful. This is where we take all that structure that we were working on and make something super stunning but still functional. So design is such a powerful step. You really have two choices when it comes to your design process. You can DIY or you can hire somebody. I typically go this route. This is where I like to live. I consider myself a creative person. I know a bit about design. I would call myself a Canva expert for sure, but I really like hiring because of the time constraints of my life. I don't have the time to do the design. So I'm a big fan of outsourcing that. I give all of my students access to my list of preferred designers that I've personally used and vetted myself. If you'd like to apply to become a preferred designer on my list, we are always looking for additional paper product designers to join. Our students are always in need of more designers. So if that's you, please email us actually at hi@dreamprinting.co. We would love to see your design resume and do some conversations and maybe work on something together to get you on the list. But right now we have a very small list of preferred partners that we absolutely adore. And so that's what I recommend. We get all those pieces of ideation, your vision, your branding, all of that, and we hand it off to the designer. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Now, there is another way. You can DIY, and there's nothing wrong with DIY. I've had a ton of students in print school DIY, and I actually hired one of my preferred partners to teach an entire course on design inside of print school. So the students that come in that are, I want to DIY, I want to learn how to do this. I want to become a designer. I want to make my own product. I want to save money and do it myself. We do have templates and training for making your own planner, journal, or devotional. We've had a couple students do incredible jobs designing it themselves. Let me grab a couple here that have been DIY'd. The Embody Joy Planner was DIY'd. She's an amazing designer. Let's see, we've got the Ignite Your Light journal was DIY. Incredible. She did such an amazing job with this. What else has been DIY'd? I'm going to grab a couple. Most of my students, I would say, lean towards getting a designer, but we've had a couple DIY as well. Anyways, but that process is available in print school. So that's the second step. And usually with designing, there are a couple steps in that process, right? There's the handoff. The first step is really creating your core spreads. I call them master pages. So you want to figure out, what are my master pages? And for a planner, a master page would be a monthly layout. That's a master page. That's going to be copy and pasted 12 times, right? Another master page in a planner would be a weekly spread. Once you get this nailed down exactly how you like it, you can copy paste 52 times. Of course, then you'll change the dates and the holidays and things like that. But you don't want to make an entire product design when you haven't nailed down your master pages, right? Because then you have to do it all over again. So master pages, editing, revision, full build out, building the whole product, and then a lot of editing and revisions. And I usually outsource to an editor, and I have a preferred partner on my preferred partner list for students. That's amazing. She's incredible. So yeah, that's the second step. And then once you export your final files, you can move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is the exciting part. Step number 3 is printing. And it's not where you print 100 or 500 or whatever. It's where you print your sample. And I actually just got my samples in for my 2025 collection. And I'm going to be doing an episode next on where I'm at in creating my 2025 planner collection. I'm going to bring you into the process and just kind of share with you in real time where we're at in our journey, and how we're preparing to launch, where are we at in the process. But spoiler alert, we already have our samples. And I wish I could show them to you. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. And it's our 10-year anniversary. October 2014 is our 10-year anniversary as a company. And so this is our kind of like our anniversary collection. Even though it's our 11th collection, it's the anniversary collection. So we have some fun limited edition designs that we're going to be launching. So with sample printing, back to step number 3, sample printing, you want to share all of your specs, right? So exactly how you want your cover designed, the material of your cover, any bells and whistles you want, the paper weight, what type of printing, like you have to share every single little detail with that printer in order to get the sample as close to perfect as possible. And this is what I see a lot. People say, Polly, give me your printer. Who's your printer? I just need your printer. If you could give me your printer. Hey, what's your printer? And I get this a lot, and I actually have an entire YouTube video about how to find the right printer. But here's the thing. Even if you had my right printer, and I don't want to assume this about you, but this is what I know, because you don't know what you don't know, right? Like a lot of people don't understand all the things that you have to tell the printer in order to get the outcome you want. This is why I don't just give my printer out, because you could have my printer and still get a really crappy product if you don't know what to ask for. That's why one of the very first lessons in print school is a vocabulary lesson. So you can learn what all of these words are, and you can understand how to ask and get what you want, to understand what material names are. What is this called when you have, a hard cover and a pocket, and like, what is it called? How do you explain that? What is this page called? How do you explain I want this on the ends paper? Like, there's just a lot of terminology to printing. I've learned it through osmosis for the last 10 years, but that's why in print school, you kind of just get like a little bachelor's degree in printing, because my goal is every single print school student becomes empowered to run their own business and not need me. That's my goal, is that you know everything I know that I've learned in 10 years, and you just get to know it, and that's it. And you get to run your business. I don't take any profits of what you sell. I just set you free to succeed and fly like a butterfly. Okay. Anyway, so you have to share all those specs, the exact size of your cover, the material you want, the binding you want, the paper weight that you want, the ink that you want, which by the way, I really try to push students to do black and white printing inside, because color printing is a lot more expensive. And so you get your sample. Typically with my printers, I work with printers overseas. It takes about a month to get your sample in the mail. From there, you might find, oh, there's something wrong with it. I don't like the spine art. I don't like this, or I want to add something, or I want to put something on the back, or whatever. You then give them all the details of what you want changed, and you do the final step, which is order your mass order, ordering 100, 200, or 500. I do not recommend printing on demand, whether that's Amazon KDP, Lulu, Vistaprint, Blurb, whatever. It's too expensive. They don't allow the customization that you really want. If you are trying to print something luxury, the paper quality typically isn't there. The customization isn't there. I mean, you've probably gone and looked, some of you have already looked at this. You've gone down the rabbit hole with Google and it's not producing what you want. So I really am not a fan of print on demand. I've looked at all the options out there in my own research, and they're either the cost is too high so you can't make profit, and the quality's not there. So like, why pay for something that's too expensive when you could buy something less expensive that's higher quality and actually make a business on it, actually make profit? So that's the fourth step. Third step is printing. Now, the fourth step is launching. This is where you sell your product to the world, you share it, you launch it, and you really have two avenues to take with launching. So you kind of get to choose your own adventure. The first side of the adventure is traditional launching, which is basically you pay upfront for your inventory. And that's what I do. Like this year, I've already put my deposit down. I'm buying a couple thousand of my planners, and I'm going to sell them in September, October, November, December, January. And I just upfront that money. My business at this point, I am my own bank. I don't take on debt. I like having a debt-free business. So I save a certain amount of money every month towards future inventory purchases. So I take that money, buy my inventory, and I do a traditional launch, which means when I launch my products into the world and say, hey, buy now, I am shipping immediately. You buy, you ship immediately. That's traditional, right? And that, for some people, when you're starting out, it's kind of scary. How many should I buy? I don't want to have a bunch of planners in my garage, And I do actually have a template in Print School of an Excel sheet calculator where you input all of your data and it tells you, it spits out a number of exactly how many I recommend you purchase in your first print run. But that's the traditional route, which is great if you have the capital to do that. The secondary route is doing a pre-order campaign, either through your website on Shopify or Kickstarter. And I see a lot of my students do the Kickstarter route. We actually have a couple that just ended recently, and I'll actually drop some of their Kickstarters below if you want to see. And actually, if you want to check out some of my Print School students and what all they've made and what their experience is like, we actually just created an alumni page to promote and celebrate them. It's called HoracioPrinting.com/alumni. The link is right here. I would love for you to go check out some of my students and the awesome things they have made. We also have some of their Kickstarter campaigns linked inside of this alumni page. So you can see the things that they've done to promote their product. So Kickstarter is basically where you try to get about 50 to 100 people to pre-order your product. And with that capital, you're able to fund your print. Now, those backers and early pre-order people, they do have to wait a while to get their product, but there's a fun way to do it, to keep them in it. It's an exciting process. The urgency of it really helps the marketing. And it's so fun. I did a Kickstarter in my second year as a company because I gave all of my capital to my wedding. I got married the year after I launched my company. And so all the capital I had from my first print run went straight to the wedding. And so I was like, oh no, I don't have the capital to pay for my next planner launch. And I ended up doing a Kickstarter. I had a goal of 15K and we did 20K. And I took that money and bought the planners. But you don't actually have to raise 20K to get 500 or 1,000 products printed. You could probably raise about 3K to get it. So it's really not this huge amount of money to rally in order to make your dream happen and get it started. So you have two avenues for launching, and I teach step by step how to launch your product inside of Launch School. Launch School is an incredible course that I built. It's a $2,000 course, and it is a free bonus for anyone who signs up for Print School. So not only do I teach you how to print your thing, but I also teach you how to launch your thing, how to set up your marketing, how to build your website, how to create an email list, how to do SMS, how to grow your audience, how to do a Kickstarter or an e-commerce campaign, how to do a Black Friday sale, all that stuff. And also there's lessons on photography, video, and all of it. So That is my signature program for launching. And it's basically the step 2 after you get done with print school. And you can find out all the information at horacioprinting.com/print school. I would love for you to come in the doors. It is an application-based program, so you do have to submit an application, which is great. Don't be intimidated. I love seeing these applications come through. I would love to work with you and help you create the product that you want to create, even if you're not 100% sure yet what you want to make. You just fill out the application and then we will email you back and forth to talk about your idea. So if you're like, I wonder if my idea makes sense, like is this good enough? Send the application. We love to see it come through, and you can learn more about print school, and you can apply at horacioprinting.com/apply. I do have an additional workshop if you want to learn more about the timeline. Like, how long do all these steps take? What kind of costs are we really talking about when it comes to printing my thing? I do have a workshop. You can go to horacioprinting.com/workshop. It's absolutely free. It's a great next step if you're still trying to figure out this process and understand what your options are. So head over to horacioprinting.com/workshop. I'll see you over there. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this lesson was helpful for you. If you want to see a different topic or me teach something about the process of running a business, printing a thing, launching a thing, drop it in the comments below. I'm going to be recording some more episodes soon for the Dream Printing Podcast, and I would love to see what you want to hear about. Have a wonderful day. You are so loved.